Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hatter Show, obviously episode 146. And obviously, predominantly in this one, it is the Bolton preview, obviously in the FA Cup. But we are going to talk about little bit of transfer news. Obviously, Rob Edwards has shut down a few rumours today. Obviously, had his pre-match press conference. Obviously, that's why we are doing a Hat Show today as well. But yeah, like I say, we'll start off with the transfer rumours. And well, I say rumours, it's just more him shutting down the rumours. But like always, I'm joined with my dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, all good, mate. Are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. But yeah, let's get into it. So he's shut down a few rumours, like I say. The first one that we're going to talk about is the Menji one. Again, you said about this yesterday to me privately, and we knew it wasn't going to happen. He's just joined the club and that sort of thing. But obviously, there is a few teams, looking at him, obviously keeping their eyes out, Premier League clubs, and that is obviously Fulham and Crystal Palace. But Rob Edwards has stated that Tida Menji stays with us after he's linked with interest from a number of Town's Premier League rivals this week. The 21-year-old has been in superb form since arriving from Old Trafford back in August, as despite initially being brought in to add competition to the squad, the youngster very quickly found himself lining up in the Hatters back three to take on some of the best players in the world, after the club's defensive options were severely hampered by a host of injuries. Since getting the nod, though, Menji has been in superb form, scoring his first senior goal in the 2-1 win over Crystal Palace and becoming a reliable fixture in the Hatters 11, which led to Fabrizio Romano reporting that both the Eagles and Fulham were now monitoring the former England youth international's situation. However, asked about those rumours this afternoon, Edward says it just shows that the lads are doing well. T's been a revelation, I think, since coming in. He's played more games than we probably anticipated he would do early on. But he's just taken it to like a duck to water and deserves to be starting the games because he's playing the way he is. So yeah, that's really that upon that. Again, like we said, you mentioned it to me, Dub, privately. We knew it wasn't going to happen. Like I say, a lot of that comes down to him just joining, as it is already. And it is going to get to a stage, especially with where we are now, and how good these players are doing pretty much consistently week upon week. They are going to, if you do want them, we're going to be, asking for, more than we would have in the past, as well. But with this one, it was always going to be shut down by Rob Edwards for me. And like I say, mainly that comes down to him just joining. But yeah, you additional thoughts on that, Dad?
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, he's probably on their monitor. That's probably just all it is. They know they ain't about to sign him. They could obviously maybe look if we get relegated, but even then, I think he'll probably give us at least another season. Do you know what I mean? And if we do sell him, then we can ask a lot of money. You want him, you rate him as a Premier League player. He's proven in the Premier League as well, so his price goes up instantly. And we'll see what happens. But no, we don't need to worry about that. I'll be very impressed with him. He's what a signing he's proven to be. So we know this recruitment team 9 times out of 10 get it right. So
yeah. And it's also interesting the fact, Rob Edwards mentions that he weren't, coming to be a starter, he's there to be another option. And to be fair, I thought as the weeks would go on, and I think I said it when we signed him, we'd see a lot more of him playing, only because of that left centre-back role, which he could play. Obviously, he's played a lot on the right, a lot more games on the right. But just, we know how Bell can be there. I thought maybe you'd see, obviously, Menji there more. But to be fair, we've seen Osho a lot on that left side as well, which has been pretty interesting. But yeah, like I say, like you say, Doug, there's nothing to worry about. Just join, like we say. So yeah, moving on to the other one, which is more of a talking point. I've seen it day upon day, and it is starting to do my head in. And I'm glad Rob Edwards has shut it down. And that's obviously the midfielder we were rumoured with even before the season started. The Ecuadorian Oscar Zambrano, I think so you say it. Obviously, he's quoted to be the next Caicedo. I mean, is that even a good thing? You know, if you think about it nowadays, what's he really doing at Chelsea? Getting a yellow card every single game. You know, if you're basing it on his time at Brighton, then yeah, obviously. But Rob Edwards denies the rumours here again. Obviously, the 19-year-old has been impressive form for Serie A side LDU Quito. I think, again, that's how you say it. Apologies if he's not. Making 14 appearances, also playing in the Copa Sudamericana as well, and was due to be involved in his country's under-23 squad later this month, but has since been withdrawn, fueling rumours of a move to England. Town have obviously been linked to the player since last year. Head scout Phil Chappell flying out to Argentina to watch the teenager along with a number of other talented youngsters in action back in October, while Edwards stated back in December that he felt the Ecuadorian club had been using Hatters to try and drum up some interest in the midfielder. And yeah, Rob Edwards essentially just shut it down. Literally, he just said, you know, there's not been we've had this conversation quite a few times. We've been linked with him, and it's news to me that keeps cropping up. It's not something that I'm pushing from my side, so we're aware of him, a really good young player, but I don't think there's too much in that. So we've shut down them rumours. I mean, it is going to have to get to a stage, and we have said it a few times, where we are, you know, we should really, you know, be looking across the pond, you know, especially with the position we're in. But I just feel, you know, that one just kept flickering and flickering. And if we was really interested, you know, I think we'd have went in, like Rob Edwards said. And it was just, you know, it's just rumours to him, but you know, it's one of them. And you know, even when we're seeing, I saw a rumour yesterday of O'Reilly, I believe it is the Celtic midfielder that we're linked with. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that shows you that we weren't interested in this guy. For me, you know, it's just a lot of rumours and speculation. But yeah, like I say, Rob Edwards has shut it down. But yeah, Dad, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, potentially, like we might have flown out and be looking at players from there, possibly. I can possibly see that, and maybe that's where it's come from. But clearly, we're not interested. I did see something about there was a contract or something, and the clause was that he gets a certain percentage of the thing, and he wants more money from his client, something like that, and that doesn't sound great anyway. Do you know what I mean? He's young, he's unproven. Yeah, he's obviously got ability, but we're not going to be gambling like that. We don't do that. It seems to fit with the way we recruit. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we will go aboard in that some stage, but we're not going to just randomly sign a player from Ecuador. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly that. But yeah, let's go through some comments. Big up to everyone inside, by the way, and then obviously we'll get into the main bit, which is of course the Bolton Wanderers game. Big up to Harry. He says, "Evening lads, big up to yourself, mate." Again, big up to Hanno as well. He says the same thing. Well, guys instead, but same thing. Menji is class. Yeah, like I say, mate, it goes back to when we did that preview. Well, I say preview, obviously our vlogs, but we did the build-up bit before, and you were saying he was back in the squad and you was happy. And now looking at that, that's pretty crazy. Obviously, he's at us. But yeah, no, he is. You know, to be, you know, even like I say, the Chelsea game the other day, I thought he was the only positive out of the back three. You know, he was still done very well. You know, when Chelsea were trying to go forward towards the end of the game, again, he was doing his usual headering it away, clearing it away. You know, I thought he was good, to be honest. Big up Stephen. Says big up to both of us. Big up to yourself, mate. I don't know, mate. I don't know why you keep thinking this. It's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen. Basically, what it is, people, is this Chelsea fan, I don't know how reliable he is, said, like, he was just talking about Doughty. You know, not saying they're going to get him, but just, like, thinking, what would you guys think, essentially? But yeah, again, if you want to play like that, mate, it goes back to what I said at the start of this. You're going to have to be paying decent money, especially for him. I'll tell you that. Yep, I'll see that, Stephen. I'll see that. He can actually play in this game, Dad.
Yeah.
I'll say there's only 2 players that are definitely out, but 4 most likely in this game. But obviously, we'll get into that in a bit. No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think he'll stay for at least another season, and then, like I say, it's one of them where people are going to have to come in for big bucks if they want him. For me, you got to think left
I
and
think
right.
if we get relegated, there's a high chance that he'll be gone. If someone comes in with decent money and it's a big club, I think he'll go. I don't blame him. But then we've got Giles to step up. So we'll see. But yeah, I wouldn't blame him. But if he stay up, he'll stay with us, definitely.
Yeah, and I've also seen a lot of fans, not even just our fans, a lot of neutral football fans actually talking about him potentially, not necessarily in Euros, but in the shout to be in and around the England squad. At least get a call, like as in to be in the conversation. Which, to be honest, when you think about it, if he was at like one of the top 6, as they say, then he would be. Let's be honest. We know how Southgate picks stuff, and you look at the England left back problems. Over the years, sure, yes, he does well for England. You do need to put a bit of respect on his name. Did score in the final of the Euros, but very injury prone. Very inconsistent with his seasons as well. Let's be honest. Chilwell, again, good player, but injured consistently. So it is one of them. He definitely should be in the conversation. Let's just be real now. And then who else have you got? You've got Trippier, who goes, who's predominantly not a left back. He's either a right back or, can play centre back. So, obviously Doughty can play left and right as well. It could be a good option, at least in the conversation for sure. Big up to yourself, Paul, in the chat as well. Harry says, need centre back, right wing back, and maybe a striker, then you're sorted. Yeah, I mean, definitely a centre back. Obviously, I said the other day that is our main priority. Like I said, it would be sick if we could get someone who can play on the right side as well. Striker, I hear it, but I've actually been very happy with our strikers, to be honest. I'll be honest, going into the season, I was a bit sceptical, only because they haven't played in the Premier League. But they've actually done better than I thought. Morris has had a bit of a drop off, but he started off really well. Some people do seem to forget that, about him. And they're saying, he's not Premier League quality. And that, I do think that's a bit over the top. Because, like I say, Dad, a lot of hat shows at the start of the season, if we were backing anyone to score, it would have been him.
Yeah.
So, players do have these moments. And I just think that's what he's having. But then again, can you really say he's been as bad as people are saying? Because you look at like the Sheffield United game. Right, he didn't score, but he put pressure on them to get them 2 own goals and win us the game. So there is stuff like that. Yeah, no, absolutely, Mark. I always say it, especially with him, that he's playing on the left and the right. He's just been absolutely phenomenal. And he's a midfielder. He's not actually a wing back. That's another thing as well. It's actually crazy how consistent he's been, really. We had him in the shout for player of the season last season. I remember me and you, Dad. I can't remember who actually we quite gave it to in the end, but he was definitely up there. But obviously, yeah, he's just been absolutely phenomenal. He really has. I'll never forget that goal against QPR. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and hopefully
he gave it to Morris. Sure.
Yeah, it made sense to give it to him. Top scorer for us. So. Yeah. But yeah, enough of that for now. But yeah, let's move on to the Bolton game. So obviously we take on Bolton. It is sold out. It is sold out. Obviously I've got that in the title. And it's a good one, Dad, because we go into it. Over the years in the FA Cup games, we don't really tend to sell out. So it's good that we have. And it shows the togetherness, the ride that we're properly enjoying it as fans, that we're determined to even go to these games, because a lot of people aren't, so it's good to see that. Obviously, our main priority is the league, so we are going to rotate a little bit, as much as Rob Edwards said, he's going to go in to win the game. We are going to rotate a little bit. It's only right, give players opportunities in this one. And yeah, it's an interesting one. Bolton, obviously they are second in League One. I believe when it was announced, they were top of the league. As far as I remember, when this fixture was announced, it's not going to be an easy game. I thought maybe Mendes Gomez would be available, but apparently he's going to be going out to his AFCON team. It's a bit of a weird one with this AFCON situation, because certain players have already gone out, And then obviously, like Stephen said earlier, certain players aren't obviously Kabore for us and that sort of thing. So I've heard that he is going to be going out. But obviously, they have got another former Luton player, obviously Jerome. I don't think he'll start, but I do reckon he'll come on. And for me, he should get a good reception. I know he weren't great at the start for Luton, but as it kicked on a little bit, his experience come into clutch, and that's why we were disappointed with him originally, because his experience wasn't coming into clutch like we know it should, and it can really sort of thing. But like I say, it's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game at all. I did watch a game the other day because our game's coming up against them and wanted to see what they're doing. They did win 1-0. I mean, they definitely deserve to win the game, but against Burton Albion. But I did think they should have took way more of their chances. They should have been about 3-4-0 up. Honestly, the amount of chances they had, they were all over them. But like I say, Kenilworth Road, it's good. It's good to get these games, but a bit of insight going into it when it comes to the cup competition against Bolton, or cup records and all of that, and referees, etc. Going into it, Luton are winless in their last 6 meetings with Bolton in all competitions, drawing 2, losing 4. With this the first game between the sides since a 6-2 home win for the Trotters in the FA Cup in January 1997. So it's not a great stat already. Bolton have won 4 of their 5 FA Cup ties against Luton Town, with the exception being a 1-0 defeat in February 1973. After losing 5 consecutive FA Cup third-round ties between 2014-2015 and 2019-20, Luton have reached at least the 4th round of the competition in each of the last 3 campaigns. Bolton are looking to reach the FA Cup 4th round for the first time since 2018-19. They're winless in 7 FA Cup games against Premier League opponents, drawing 2, losing 5, since a 2-0 away win at Sunderland in January 2013. And then John Bodvarsson, I believe I say his name, scored 7 goals in his last 8 FA Cup appearances, netting 2 hat-tricks in that run. He has 4 goals in 3 games for Bolton in the competition, including a treble in this season's 2nd round. So you've got to watch out for that guy for sure. And then a bit more going into it. Obviously, we kick off our FA Cup campaign, obviously on Sunday, as we all know. Rob Edwards' side obviously ended 2023 with defeat against Chelsea after back-to-back Premier League wins and an extremely positive 12 months. Ian Evatt's Trotters have won their last 4 in a row and sit 2nd in League One. Bolton have won both their FA Cup ties by 4 goals. VAR and goal line technology will be in operation for this fixture, and the tie will go to a replay if it ends in a draw. So that's going to be interesting. Because it was League Cup, I believe there weren't VAR for Gillingham. So this will be the first time I'm seeing it at home. Obviously, the playoff final, but like I say, that was obviously a neutral ground. A bit more about the opposition. After over 500 league appearances during his playing career, Evatt arrived at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium in 2020 following a successful first managerial job at Barrow. The 42-year-old guided Bolton to promotion from League Two in his first season and are now closing in on another potential promotion to the Championship after winning the EFL trophy last season. Northern Ireland international Dion Charles, again another very good player, is Bolton's top scorer this season with 16 goals in all competitions. The 28-year-old has scored twice in the last 4 games. The Wanderers have the 3rd best defensive record in League One and have picked up the most points in the division from their last 5 games. Words from Rob Edwards going into it. Bolton are a very capable team. They're dangerous, confident, and in good form, so it'll be a very difficult game. I know their manager very well. He's a former teammate of mine and has done a brilliant job with them. He's been building that club for a number of years. He's had time which he's deserved because of the results they've had. They had a promotion under him already and went close again last year. Last meeting at the Kenny was obviously at 1997 one. Obviously, we had that narrow defeat to Chelsea last time out. Injury news going into it, like I say, it's very positive. Obviously, Nakamba and Lockyer are obviously out for sure. Kabore, like I say, will be, or like Stephen says, sorry, will be available because he joins with his international team or national side, sorry, a bit later on this month. It's too soon for Dan Potts to be available, and Reece Burke is further ahead, but again, most likely won't be, which is a bit gutting because if Burke was available, I'd like put him in this type of game, especially for the fitness and that side of things. Officials in this one, Andy Madley, 77 yellow cards, but 3 red cards have been handed out by Madley across his 16 games this season. We last had a game run by Madley when we entertained Liverpool, obviously the 1-1 draw. The fixture will obviously, like I say, have VAR, as Michael Oliver will be alongside Tim Robinson on VAR with Darren Cann as the assistant. So that is that upon that. And obviously, if you're not going to the game, it is actually on international broadcast. So obviously, we do have quite a few, fans across the pond, as they say. So could give it a watch, which is good. It's good that it's on there. And again, obviously, some FA Cup fixtures, League Cup fixtures, they don't get televised. So it's good to see that, obviously, it's on some sort of thing to watch. But after saying all of that, Dad, how are you feeling going into this one?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad it's a sellout. A lot of people like us who haven't been able to go to games are probably going to go. But it's going to be a good atmosphere. They're on the up. Clearly, we've got a little bit of a relationship with them. We give them a couple of players, whatever. And yeah, they're on the up. I like Bolton anyway. They've been in the Premier League before as well. So it's good to see them doing well. I think it's going to be an entertaining game, and it's weird as well, like being the favourites in the cup competition. But we know because we've done it. You got to be careful. But I just think they'll just go out and enjoy the game more than anything. And it's one of them. First season in the Premier League, I wouldn't be too disappointed if we didn't get through. But yeah, something to look forward to. It's going to be, and see a few changes as well. And yeah, I think it's going to be good. VAR,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, as for me, I'll say I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good to be there. I'm very happy it's a sellout. I didn't think it would be. Like I say, a lot of people, obviously, the main priority, including ourselves, is the league, of course. But like you say, Dad, it's good. Because obviously we go into it as well, so it should be a good atmosphere from both sets of fans. I believe it will be. Bolton always bring good following. I'll give them that. And like I say, they are. Yeah, I'm the same as you, Dad. I do respect them, to be honest. I remember going to their ground a couple of years ago, just not literally in it, but just around it, and I like the look of it and that sort of thing. And I've actually spoke to a few Bolton fans a few times. Been up north, and they're really nice people to me. So yeah, big up to them. But yeah, it's one where as long as we play better, but I just what we're like in the cup. As long as we play better than we have in previous cup games, then I'll be happy. And as long as players do show it that don't really get that pick a lot, because obviously you look at games like the Exeter game, for example, a lot of players were poor in that. Like Luke Berry, I thought he'd do much better. And by the sounds of it, Rob Edwards was obviously talking about the midfield situation as well earlier. And he mentioned, obviously, we've, the main ones, obviously, Barkley, Lukonga, we've got them guys, and he even, bigged up Luke Berry in that. So, maybe he might stay, and not go out on loan this season. Obviously, maybe you thought that to free up another space, but it doesn't sound like it. So, yeah, it's one of them. But let's go through some more comments. Tyler, I'm actually an American Luton fan. If I DM you some questions, I'm coming to Luton next January. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Obviously, my social medias are all in the description. I mean, Instagram's probably the best one to contact me on. I don't use Twitter a lot, or X, whatever you want to call it nowadays. Oh, just dropped my phone. Talk about phones, but yeah, no worries at all, mate. Going to be a good game, says Harry. Bolton, probably one of the trickiest League One teams you could have got. No, absolutely, mate. When it was announced, they were top of the league, so it's going to be a difficult game. And like I say, I know what we like in these cup competitions. We do sometimes make it difficult for ourselves. I think the only comfortable cup game I can think of in recent years was Cambridge away. Obviously, we did a watch along to that one. That's very but feels like a very long time ago now. Jerome, Blues legend, man. Yeah, obviously he played for you guys as well. I'll say, with Luton, I didn't actually think he was awful at Luton. He just didn't start off. He just didn't do what we knew he could have to start off with. I remember going Preston away, and because he wasn't doing anything then. Elijah was massive for us then. That's when he was top scorer. He learned in the squad, and we're like, yeah, we're going to lose just because Jerome wasn't pulling strings like we know he could, and obviously we did lose that game technically in the first half. But yeah, like they got a lot of good players. Like I say, Dion Charles is probably the standout. Obviously, there's a few former Birmingham players there as well. So yeah, Jackie's putting her predictions. I'll start that and I'll go through it at the end. Yeah, potentially. Bolton fans are decent. Yeah, they are. So yeah, but moving on to the lineup. Like we say, we do expect a rotational team, of course, but obviously we'll do the usual. So for me, I'm obviously not going to go Kaminsky in goal in this one. It makes sense to go with Tim Krul in this game. I think that's straightforward. The back three, I am going to go formation-wise what we have been going with in the Premier League. I'm just going to stick with that. I feel, it's good to stick with it and see what the rotational players can do with it. So yeah, obviously against Gillingham we didn't play like that, but again we didn't really know what we were going to play certain weeks. But now we're sort of used to this one, and I think we'll stick with it. It makes sense. The back three, I'll say obviously Mo Burke. I'd like to put him in this game, but obviously he's not available. I'm gonna say in this game, it's quite a strong back three for me, but there's not really any options. I'm gonna go Osho on the right, like when it comes to, changing it up a little bit. I'm going to go Osho on the right. I don't know about him in the middle. Like I've said, I feel he's better as on the left side or the right. But I'll go with him on the right. On the left side, I will go Menji in this one. And then in the middle, I'm going to start Anderson. I'm going to start Anderson in this one. He hasn't started a lot of games, so I feel this will be good to, start him in this one. So yeah, and I believe he actually played in that Gillingham game, started. So yeah, I think it was Bell, him, and Lockyer, as far as I'm aware. So I remember from that game. The midfield, now, like I say, Rob Edwards seems like he's got faith in Berry. So I'm going to go Berry. And I'm going to go with Ruddock. I do feel Ruddock will definitely start. Maybe Berry won't, but I'll go with Berry. The left wing back, I'm going to go Giles. I'm going to stick with it there. And then I'm going to go Doughty. I feel, even though it is cup, maybe you might see Doughty rested. But I don't know. I just think he might start. And I'll start him myself. He did start against Gillingham on that right side as well. And obviously scored a very good goal in that game as well, as we all know. So I'll go with him. But I wouldn't be surprised, like I say, if he is, on the bench. And then the three up front, I'm going to go with Woodrow as the one highest. I thought he'd done decent for the amount of time he come on against Chelsea the other day. And then I'm going to go with Brown on the left. And then I'm going to go on the right side. I'm going to go with Chong. I'm going to go with Chong in this game. So, yeah, quite rotational. There's a few players there that usually do start in the Prem. Obviously, mainly the back three at this moment in time. Doughty, Brown. So, yeah, other than that, it's rotational, really. But your lineup, Dad?
Yeah, I like yours. I could see it because I was thinking about whether we were going to stick with that formation or not. But, if we lined up like that, I'd be pretty happy. Like I say, obviously, Krul's going to start in goal. So, why not?
Bloody hell, Dad. Are you near a what's it called?
That's the name. Doing some drilling or something.
I thought he was I can't remember it. You know where all the boats are and you hear all them noises?
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, Krul in goal. I can't see Shea starting.
No.
Really. And then I've gone with Osho Anderson and Menji at the back, same as you. I think they're in the same positions as well.
Osho and Mendy other way round for me, but Anderson is, yeah.
Then obviously got Giles, because I feel he deserves to start as well. Kabore, because he's been given special disposition or whatever to play.
Yeah.
Starting him. And then in the midfield, I'm going to have Ruddock as the little anchor man there. I'm going to start Chong Clark alongside him. And then I'm having 2 up front. I'd like to see that Morris and Woodrow, to see how they work together and that. Do you know what I mean? I just think that we can afford to play like this, if that makes sense. And I think that midfield's pretty decent. If they play all right, it's pretty decent. Defence is sound, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's what I want to go with. So that's who I want to see. And obviously, like people Berry on the bench, then we'll probably have Bell, Shea, probably.
Yeah.
And then
maybe one youngster like Johnson potentially.
I mean, yeah, we just don't. Obviously, it's going to rotate, and I think they're going to try and balance it. They're going to look to win the game, still, obviously, and then see who we get. If we've got a chance of progressing, we've got a chance of progressing. Because, I mean, if we was in our second season in the Premier League, I'd be like, go for it. Look at the performances we do against Man City, Liverpool, and that. If we played them at Wembley, who knows?
Yeah.
But, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a lively game, but I think that's a squad that can do it. I think it's strong defensively. It's got a good spine for it. Do you know what I mean? And then players are capable, but similar to yours as well. We've got them changes on Woodrow. We want to start definitely. Krul. Defense, Anderson will probably just come in. I just think that's going to happen. And Ruddock, we know Ruddock's going to start. And then everyone else is a bit like, I'm not sure. But I'd start Morris just to keep him in the flow. And really, he'll probably score. If he starts, he'll score against Bolton, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah.
To be fair, it's funny you say that. So I was just looking at comments from Luton and Bolton fans going into the game. Bolton fan, one of them weren't confident. He said Morris brace. But I could see that, to be fair, the 2 up front. And that would want to be my 2 up front as well if it was, get Morris some confidence. And Woodrow, like I say, he did score in the last game. That was a cup competition. Very good goal. But yeah, the defence is, it's one that you have to really go with. I mean, the only difference you could probably make is Bell in there, but I feel because he's been the captain recently, it might sound a bit stupid, but because he's been the captain, I don't feel we're going to start him.
No, I think we'll rest him, mate. We'll rest him.
Yeah, exactly. We'll either rest him fully or he'll be on the bench for me in this game. We'll see a few bigger names, shall I say, on the bench, most likely. Not necessarily Ross Barkley in that. I know he's on the bench against Gillingham, but that's because he was getting into fitness. I don't believe we'll see him on the bench in this one.
And I'm sure I saw an Instagram or something he was in Switzerland or something like that.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah, there you go then. But you'll see, you might see, maybe Lokonga, because he's on loan. You might see someone like that on the bench, but you will see 1 or 2 ones that, predominantly start in the Premier League. I do believe that. But yeah, Harry's lineup. Krul, Kabore, Osho, Anderson, Bell, Doughty on the left, Berry, Ruddock and Chong. Nice, that's actually quite a good midfield, when it comes to, this type of game. Chio and Woodrow. And obviously you said ignore the first lineup. But that's pretty decent. So obviously you've got Chio and Woodrow up front. I mean, interesting. We know Chio can play up front as well. He can play a lot of positions. But yeah, you put Clark in, Dad. So I was flickering between putting him in instead of maybe Brown. But I reckon he'll come on potentially. But I wouldn't be, like I say, I'd like to see him start because we haven't we've only seen him come on. It'd be good for minutes. It would be good for minutes for him as well because we know the capabilities he's got for sure. So yeah, Paul's putting his predictions. Again, I'll get into that. So yeah, big up to Chris in the chat. He says, "Big up lads. I'm in Exeter for our game tomorrow. 6-hour trek. Our longest trek there with Portsmouth. Looking to make it back-to-back wins. Close gap on safety to 0 points. A big game for us now. Absolutely, mate. Fair play for that. Can you imagine Carlisle to Exeter? Jeez.
Well, Exeter have been dropping since they beat us. They started. They were top of the league when we were drawn against them. I swear. And then they beat us.
They were, yeah.
Like dropping.
They actually were.
Like a boulder in the flipping sink.
And it was mad even before that. Yeah, they were top of the league. And that. Didn't they lose like 9-0 to Reading or something? 8-0 or something stupid like that.
Give them a hiding. Bolton would give teams a couple of teams good hidings as well. So,
yeah,
looking forward to it. It's going to be competitive. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be a nice FA Cup game. I think it might be a bit of a classic there, to be fair, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Chris put in his prediction. I'll get into that. And then Brown to score first, says Paul, with his prediction, which again, I'll get into that. But yeah, it is that time, Dad. Score predictions. I'll say we will be there. Matchday vlog back again. Like I say, I said it for the Gillingham game. Probably one of the rare times this season. But yeah, 2 p.m. kickoff at Kenilworth Road. Sold out crowd. Score prediction, Dad.
I'm going to go for goals. I'm going to go for the third 3-2 in a row. I'm going to go 3-2 Luton.
Jeez, that is mad if we had another 3-2. But I wouldn't be surprised because you know what we're like in cup competitions. Obviously, I did predict a 3-2 myself. Obviously, in the last cup competition game, which is obviously the League Cup against Gillingham, that was actually 3-2. So I could see it because I know what we're like. So yeah. As for my score prediction, how do I see it going? Kenilworth Road, 2 p.m. kickoff against Bolton Wanderers. Like I say, they're high flying. It's not going to be an easy game. When it was announced, like I say, they were top of the league. They are second. It's going to be an interesting one. I know what we like in these cup competitions as well. We do make it difficult for ourselves. And unfortunately, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, which means we have to have a replay in a bit of an unnecessary game, but I just know what we like. So I am going to go for a 2-2 draw in this one, but I am on the same wavelength as you, Dad. I do believe there will be goals in this one. But there you go. There you go, Dad. Chris says, yeah, they're in their relegation zone. One place above us, we can go above them. So yeah, that would be good. I actually reckon you might do it. I've got a feeling they're going to do it for them fans travelling all that way. I reckon it could be one. It might even be a mad game, but I can see you edging it, to be honest. But yeah, Harry's putting his prediction. So yeah, we'll get through all of these predictions. So we'll start off. Do get in your goal scorers as well. We'll do ours in a second. Jackie says 2-1 Luton. Not going to be an easy game. No, 100%. I can't stress that enough. It is not going to be an easy game. Like I say, they're high flying. And plus, like I say, we know what we're like in these cup competitions. So, yeah, there's that. Paul's prediction is obviously 2-1 Luton. So, again, another 2-1. We like that. We like that very much. Obviously, he did have Brown scoring as well, which, again, that'd be good for his confidence. If he was to start. Chris is on the same wavelength as me. He's gone with a 2-2. He says, hard one to predict with Luton past poor record in cup competitions. Bolton high flying in League One, but Luton strong at home, so I'm sitting on fence. Yeah, exactly. That's understandable. Like I say, the only cup game where I think we've made it, good for ourselves was Cambridge. Like I said earlier, the 3-0 away win. That was a very good win. But other than that, it made it difficult for ourselves, if we're being honest. So totally understandable. Like I say, I've gone for the same, mate. And then Harry has gone 2-2. Again, another 2-2. That is quite a popular prediction. Goal scorers, Chong and Woodrow. And for Bolton, Ricardo Santos and Dion Charles, late equaliser. Oh, late equaliser. Could you imagine that? Imagine to have a replay in a bit of an unnecessary game, for us, let's be honest. If there was a replay. After our win at home to 14th Port Vale, which we won in late fashion, gives us that confidence going 3-1. Do you know what? I don't really watch League One, but I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3-2 Carlisle. Let's see if I get that right. If anyone wins, will be Luton. Can't see losing this game. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I hear it. We are at home, to be honest. And again, Chris is on the same wavelength. Says can't see Luton losing at home. Yeah, never know, but I hear what you guys are saying. Definitely. Stephen's gone 3-2 as well, same as you, Dad. He says they will give us a scare, but our fitness will punish them late on. Yeah, could well be, to be honest. Especially, I remember looking at the Gillingham game, right? And I know we narrowly won that, but you looked at that game, you looked at the bench, and just the second team as a whole, or so-called second team. I know it's still quite strong, but either way, what people would have went with in that game was a very good, lineup compared to previous years. So, you have to take that into account as well. Obviously, the Exeter game was during that as well, but I think that was just one of them. I do believe this will be goals, and we all believe it will be goals. There's no one with a low scoring one. Imagine we all say this and it's 0-0 or something like that. Big up to Geordie. It says, Hawaii lads. Yeah, by the way, people, tomorrow, I did put a community post out yesterday about the extra channel. I'm going to do neutral watch-alongs on there going forward. Because like I say, I want to do predominantly Luton stuff and Premier League stuff on here or whatever league Luton are in. So I'm going to do neutral watch-alongs on there, and I'll be back with that game. It's only right I do that game because we might not see it for a while. Let's be honest. I know Sunderland are doing very well in the Championship, but I think there's other teams that have more chance of going up than them. So we might not see that game for a few years at least. Obviously, taking out tomorrow's game. So I will be doing a watch along to that. So obviously, if you can, do tune into that. Obviously, T-Boys TV Extra. I'll probably put it out in a community post tomorrow, and I'll schedule it tonight. So do make sure you subscribe to that. Link to that is obviously in the description. And yeah, I'll be doing watch-alongs on there, neutral watch-alongs every now and then. So yeah, I feel it's only right to do that game. I really do. But yeah. Oh mate, everyone's not liking me saying that. But you just I can't see it, but you never know. But yeah, talk about that game quick. 2-1 Sunderland. Yeah, I've actually gone with the same. I've gone with the same. I know people go, yeah, but Newcastle's team's much better, but they got injuries, and it is a derby. It's away at Sunderland. Sunderland are high flying as well compared to Newcastle. And I do think, unfortunately for Eddie Howe, because I do think he's a good manager, I do think if they lose, he might potentially go. Because I think after that, it got like Man City away.
That's ridiculous. But I do think they're going to lose.
Yeah. I could just see it being a nail in the coffin because it's Sunderland, they're rivals.
If they sack him, but we'll see.
I agree. He's got a much higher than they'd have expected in the how quickly it's been. So I agree. I do think it would be. You know what it's like. You look at the Steve Cooper one. Yes, they were on a bit of a losing streak. But again, got to put a bit of respect on the guy's name. To turn him around how he did. But you know what they're like nowadays. I did say it a couple of months ago as well. As the months go on, there will be higher expectations because obviously they are in the Champions League. Obviously they were when I said it, and they're going to expect to be at least up in the top 6 or fighting for the top 6. So it's going to be one of them for them. Stephen's gone 3-1 Newcastle. Gee, oh my God! Tyler is a Twix of YouTube. He has an extra channel too. That's a good one. But yeah. Like I say, I will be doing a watch along. Really want to draw going to replay at St James's Park. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind that. Again, I'd probably do another watch along to that. To be honest, I'd be sick to see the derby twice. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, that is that. But yeah, any final things, Dad, you'd like to say about anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'll just goal scorers for me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, of course.
I'm going to go Woodrow, Clark, and Morris.
Fair enough. My 2 goal scorers, I'm going to go Woodrow as well. I agree. Sort of has a habit of scoring in cup competitions, doesn't he? I don't think he started against Exeter, as far as I'm aware. I can't really.
He's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm going to go Woodrow, and I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to go Pelly Ruddock. I'm going to say he gets off the mark, first goal this season. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to go M2.
Definitely wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm trying to base it more on players that probably will start, not necessarily ones that I've said. I can't see no reason why they both won't, to be honest. So, yeah, that is that upon that. But big up to everyone that's tuned in. We are currently on 10 likes, so big up to yourselves. Again, I know a lot of people watch this back on playback, so big up to yourselves for that. Obviously, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Obviously, a new subscriber in the stream. Obviously, the American Luton fans, big up to yourself, mate. I'll say my socials are all in the description if you want to DM me. Like I said, you wanted to. Like I say, do Instagram. Yeah, mainly whatever account, don't really matter, but that's the one I use the most out of all of them. And yeah, like I say, subscribe to the extra channel. Like I say, I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow to the Sunderland Newcastle game. So obviously do tune into that. It's a 12:45 kickoff, I believe. So I'll probably go live about 12:35, something like that, 10 minutes before and that sort of thing. And then obviously there'll be a vlog on Sunday. I'll say probably one of the rare vlogs this season. But yeah, do obviously check that out as well. And then we'll do a Hatter show a few days after, 2 or 3 probably, reacting to this game. And then obviously we got Burnley on Monday. Obviously not the Monday coming, obviously, the one after. So we'll be back again with that. Might do that on the Sunday, potentially. So we will see as that goes on. But yeah, big up to everyone, like I say. Smash a like, subscribe, all of that. Turn on notification bell for both channels. And then if you want to follow me across any of my socials, link to them are in the description. So until tomorrow on the other channel, and then until Sunday, we will both see you on this channel for the matchday vlog. Until then, take care and peace. Uptown.